I'm here at Bella+Canvas in Los Angeles, California with Wes Tate, and Wes is going to do something really special. You're going to take us through a tour?
Yeah, I'm going to show you our entire production facilities that we have here in Los Angeles. Right now we're at the cutting floor where we cut all of our garments. It is the largest cutting floor in the Western Hemisphere, so it's a real treat.
All right, well, I'm excited. Let's go.
A lot of stuff you're going to see here is going to show off both our investment in U.S. jobs as well as technology. So a lot of the stuff we do here is things that other companies just aren't willing to invest in, which just adds to like our precision and accuracy to make sure like you're getting a quality product that's going to be the same no matter when you order it. So here we go.
Exciting.
It's like the door to Narnia here.
Oh, no kidding. Whoa.
As you can see, like as far as the eye goes, we have cutting tables here where we're laying out all of the fabric. We do all of our cutting right here in Los Angeles, which is really great. We house all that, so our process is going to be the same, you know, all the time.
I feel like I have all the questions, so it's probably best to just let you do your thing.
So what we'll see today, we call this Warehouse 7. And so I'll take you to Warehouse 1 where it all started. So you'll kind of get to see how we've grown from there. So this is kind of even a lot to take in of itself. As you can see, it's just aisles and aisles of fabric, which is really cool. Wow. We have more than 300 colors in our catalog. So like whatever color anybody is looking for, we have it. And yeah, so right here is where a lot of it's housed. We have some other facilities that also house fabric. But right here you can see the fabric. This is where it gets loaded in and out. We do the majority of our dyeing here in Los Angeles as well. It's just in the other side of town. So a lot of the fabric comes in here. They'll unload it and get all that situated. I don't even know how it's all organized, but they do a very good job at it. We use Blue Sign certified dyes, which is really cool. It's one of the things that a lot of people don't know about. So what that is it's a third party that goes around and checks the facilities as well as the inks and dyes itself and makes sure that it's not harmful to the employee that's actually dyeing the stuff, it's not harmful to the environment, and it's also not harmful to the customer who's then wearing it.
Right.
A lot of people don't know this, but sometimes people will break out because of, you know, like people break out because of laundry detergent.
Especially, or if you're buying a cheaper garment, a not Bella+Canvas garment, right? Yeah.
So the Blue Sign, that just comes in and makes sure all that stuff is good to go. Also ensures that there's no sweatshops or anything like that involved with that process.
So if I may ask, what the people who are writing these machines, what process is that right there?
That is called, well, that machine is called a spreader. And I'll show you, we have a couple of the old school ones that the majority of our competitors use where it's actually manual. So the person has to walk down and roll it out themselves.
Okay.
Which, you know, can lead to a little bit of inconsistency, just as, you know, how it's laid out. As you can see here, it's getting a nice, smooth, consistent lay down, and they're smoothing it out as they go with these yardsticks. So this right here, it's one of our tri-blends. It feels like you can see the specs here that it's got the polyester blend in there. This and that, you can see it can hold up to 150 layers for the t-shirts. So we're cutting 150 layers at a time.
Oh, okay.
And then for the fleece, we can do 80 layers at a time. Imagine walking 150 layers back and forth, and then having to reload your spool of fabric every single time. Whereas these machines, you'll see some of them, they have the next several all stacked on top, so you can easily switch that out.
So in the old school, people would just literally be walking miles and miles every day.
Yeah, exactly, And imagine how great that feels when you're on a concrete floor or whatever, you know, having to do that. So it's pretty crazy. Here in this facility, we have the capacity to do 8 million units a week.
A week?
Yeah.
Jeez. And when you say units, you're talking like mostly t-shirt, but you guys also do like sweatshirts, hoodies,
right? Yeah.
Shorts.
Yeah, all together. So like the t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshorts, sweatpants. Yeah, 8 million units all together a week is what our capacity is. We're not always operating that crazy, but at peak times and things like that, we definitely can build up to that. Part of our secret sauce is we let the fabric rest before cutting it. So we do lots of things to kind of ensure that our clothes are going to shrink way less. We're way below the industry average, and
yeah, and I've noticed that wearing Bella+Canvas that yes, I'm like, how did these guys get it to just stay?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, a big part is at our dyeing facility, we actually do a pre-shrink process there because if you think about it, through the whole process of the yarn being spun and being put into the rolls of fabric and then getting dyed, there's so much pull and tug on that. So we do one process there where it's able to get pre-shrunk that way. Then when we get here and we lay it all out, we let it rest to give it another opportunity for it to shrink back to its natural state, if you will, for it. And so that's why you have these little tracks here. So while one table is resting, we can roll the cutting to the next one and work on that one. So that's what you'll see going on back and forth here.
Wow.
You can see here on the screen, like what they're cutting out, like the pattern there. It's really cool because you can see how closely we put the different panels together, so that way we're using as much fabric as we possibly can. This gives us consistency across every batch, every size. It's going to be the same cut from the top to the bottom.
And I see they're pulling out stacks of the templates.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are each of the panels here. Like this is a sleeve that you see.
It's like 5 million sleeves.
Yeah, right? And so just doing a little quality check here, make sure it got cut right. These things are another one of our little secret sauces. The shirt, when it gets cut, will have the same thing on that side, and that's like a puzzle piece. So then when the sewer is going to do it, they just match up the pieces, sew it together, good to go.
Yeah, just little things to make it perfect every time.
Right, yeah. Yeah, consistency is key. We talk about that a lot. And we've all been to stores where we've tried, we're supposed to be like a size medium, and then we try on that shirt and you're like, this is not a medium, you know?
Oh yeah,
so,
I know exactly what you mean. And it happens even within a brand, like, because there's been, and I won't name them, but like, there's other t-shirt brands where sometimes I'm a XXX, sometimes I'm a XXX, and it really depends on what time of the year I bought the stuff, right?
Right, yeah.
And it'll be under the same model number too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to say the model number, but it'll be the same model number, and I have different shirts. I'll hold them up to each other, and it's different sizes.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's pretty wild. All of our scraps, we recycle everything, the plastic, the paper that's being used, and the fabric. So the fabric will get turned into pillow stuffings, mattress stuffings, baby bibs, dog bed stuffings. But then we also have our new EcoMax tee that's 100% recycled. And the cotton in that shirt is recycled from our own cotton. So we're now taking the cotton from our 3001 and putting it back into another shirt. These are all of the shirt collars. Which you don't ever think about it, but it's actually it's a ribbed material. That's how it has like the little lines in it. So after they cut all that, they'll lay down a different material from the regular shirt and then cut out all the collars. So that's what we have a huge stack here.
This is just a stack of collars.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
Anyway.
It's interesting to see so many lines running with all the different colors.
Yeah.
Like that. It all makes sense now.
And one thing that's cool, I just found out about, and it makes sense, but each of these is packaged with everything you need within here. So like, there's no like, oh, and then we have to go get whatever from that box. When it comes to the sewing, all the pieces for all the shirts are all in that one section. So that's pretty cool.
Like, I feel like you guys are very ego-conscious, socially conscious, and so as you guys are bringing in like automated stuff that would cost jobs, like, no, not really. I see tons of jobs, tons of humans and people here. So
yeah,
it's really
absolutely.
cool.
It all like just helps aid the human process in it. It's not replacing any of them. It's just making their job easier and making it more efficient for them, so they're able to work, I don't know, more efficiently without more strain, you know?
Or moving, maybe like, I don't want to say non-skilled, but moving kind of more simple jobs and allowing people to move up into more skilled jobs.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like my mailman's the only person who's gonna walk more than me today. This is huge.
I know, it's wild. So I wanted to take you over here to see this. I mentioned our EcoMax tee, the 3001 Eco. It's 100% recycled. everything from the tag on the inside of the shirt, the stitching. Wow. It's 100% recycled. So the polyester that is in it comes from recycled water bottles. And then the cotton is recycled from our own tees. And that's what you're seeing here. This is where they're loading in the scraps for each color. And then it goes into this little compactor, and then we get this nice shirt bale that we then send back to our manufacturer for the cotton. And they chop that up, break it back down, and respin it into new thread. First time open road golf carting?
Yes, actually, yes.
It's an entire city block. We're at a traffic light right there, and we're going to go all the way down to the next street for a stop sign. So it's pretty massive of a facility.
So now you're calling this building 1. Is this where it all started?
Yeah, so we're at Warehouse 1 now. Our owners actually started as high school best friends, and they started a screen printing business. So that was in '92. So they started doing screen printing, and then they started...
So it's in the DNA.
It's in the DNA, yeah. They know what the end customer needs and wants and what they're looking for, because that was them. So then they started making their own blanks for companies like Gap, I think Fox Racing, Banana Republic, and then their screen print customers were like, we don't want these blanks, we want what you're making for these companies. And that's when Bella started. So when all that got underway, this is what we call Warehouse 1. It's the epicenter where it all started. So I'll take you back to what used to be the cutting floor, and you can imagine what we've grown to because you've seen it and what we have now. This is the original, what you just saw, and everything was done here. So shipping, the cutting, and sewing used to all just be in this one building. So you can see how much we've grown over the years.
I would guess white's your second most popular color?
It probably is. One thing that's cool about the sewing process of manufacturing that I was not aware of until I started working here, everybody is kind of the expert on their own little piece. So one person's just doing the sleeves, one person's just doing the side, one person's just hemming the bottom. A lot of that has to do with just time efficiency, because they take different types of thread, different types of needles, and you're not having to change all that out on the machines. But yeah, right now we do about 1% of our sewing here, and then the rest are done Nicaragua and Honduras, like I mentioned. One thing that is cool is those are our facilities. A lot of companies, it'll be like a sewing house that company is a client of. So like maybe that sewing company is doing company X this week, and in 2 weeks they're doing company Y, and in 2 weeks they're doing company Q. And with us, it's our facility. We own it through and through, so they're only doing Bella+Canvas products.
Wes, thank you so much. My mind is thoroughly blown. Your guys' facilities here are incredible. We really appreciate it.
Great, I did my job. Good.
Do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, we actually got a chance to sit down with Wes and talk a lot more about Bella+Canvas and how you can incorporate them into your business. So do me a favor, head on over to our podcast, Customizing Culture, and we'll see you later.
See ya.